Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about women's role in prohibition during the Progressive Era in the United States. We'll kind of start off with during this time, temperance reform was fighting to limit the amount of alcohol consumption by Americans, and in the late 1900s, women started getting involved with the cause because alcohol was a big cause in domestic violence and abuse. If you were drinking more alcohol, well, if you're drinking alcohol, you're more likely to abuse your wife. Um, Families would struggle because men would spend all their time and money and on alcohol, and they would always be gone. Now, in 1874, the Women's Christian Temperance Union (WCTU) was founded. It was led by Frances Willard. The WCTU became the most powerful women's organization in the late 19th century. This group was also instrumental in the fight for women's suffrage. And because of their efforts, by 1901, every state in the nation had a program in schools informing children about the dangers of alcohol. The WCTU's efforts also helped pave the way for the 18th Amendment prohibiting the sale of alcohol. Now, one of the most radical members of the group was Carrie A. Nation. Starting in 1990, she showed her disapproval of alcohol by smashing bars, taverns, and any really just place or establishment that served alcohol. She would carry a hatchet to do most of her damage. Carrie's interest in the group began after she was married to Dr. Charles Gloyd. Dr. Gloyd was a severe alcoholic, to say the least. The couple was separated for a year, and then following that, he died of alcoholism. Needless to say, she developed a long-term attitude against alcohol use, and eventually she did get married again to David A. Nation, an attorney, minister, and a newspaper journalist. Carrie began her fight against alcohol use in Medicine Lodge, Kansas. While she was there, she started a branch of the Women's Christian Temperance Union. She also began campaigning to enforce the Kansas ban on sale of liquor. And I would say, kind of based on her protests and stuff over time, like when she first started campaigning and stuff, most of her protests were pretty simple and pretty calm. But over time, she ended up getting more and more radical and definitely trying to make a point. With not a lot of success during her campaigns, she prayed for direction one night, and that morning she claimed that a voice spoke to her and told her to take something in her hands and throw them at places in Kiowa and smash them. Kiowa was a very religious Native American that carried a hatchet. Answering that voice, she ended up gathering some rocks and went to a saloon and said, "Men, I've come to save you from a drunkard's fate." She began destroying their stock of liquor with the rocks. She continued this with many other saloons as well. After one of her raids, her husband suggested using a hatchet, and that's when she really started beginning using a hatchet instead of rocks during her protests. And because she started using a hatchet, she started developing quite an arrest record, and her fame for her hatchetations, as she called them. The bars actually, because of this, came up with their own slogan, which read, "All nations welcome but Carrie." As Carrie's protests got more and more intense, one of the things that she ended up doing is she ended up changing her name, well, the spelling of her name, from Carrie to Carrie with 2 R's. And the reason for that is she wanted it to stand for Carry a Nation for Prohibition. Others gave her a name as well, like Anti-Souse Queen. Near the end of her life, she moved to Eureka Springs, Arkansas, and which is now known as Hatchet Hall. She died there in 1911. Other than Carrie, during this time period, there were a lot of other organizations that were involved in the same quest as her, just basically for prohibition, and some of these were like the Anti-Saloon League and just a lot of individual activists, but I'd say the WTCU was the most dominant women's group for prohibition.